Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, November 17th, 2020. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here is the ES in the daily time frame, and one thing you'll notice is that price was able to push beyond the 3600 level in the previous session, obviously the 3587 level, and was able to close strong for the day. It never really dropped back below 3600. Every time it did kind of dip its toe below it, it was a quick buy back up. It created a very narrow range at these highs that continues to hold at this moment, even as price tests 3600 evens at the moment. Now, right now, in the previous session, price got down into about 35.97 a couple of times before bouncing. The point here is that we have a bit of a rounded top developing in the intraday time frames, 15-minute chart, 60-minute chart, and right now if price can't hold the 35.95s, we may begin to see a bit more weakness to the previous session's low and below. Overall, this market has been very strong, so even if we were to pull back here, even as deep as 35.50, it could still be a pop higher. As this market remains bullish, it continues to see strength here, and price pushed and closed beyond that rejection day midpoint, which is typically a bullish sign and usually opens up a move to new highs beyond that tail's high. So right now everything continues to push higher. I would say that if we do dip below 35.95, we could see a bit of a flush. Look for signs of rejection after that flush, as it could turn right back around and we head higher. Alright, let's take a look now at the NQ. Now the NQ continues to test and trade that 12K level. In the previous session we were seeing a tail at the upper end of the day's range, followed by some selling pressure here. We just did not see it finish that way. Again, they finished strong and price turned around to close above 12K. That's very solid there. We are still below the midpoint of the rejection day from a couple of Mondays ago. Price continues to hold below the 12,200 level, which has been major resistance on multiple occasions. So while we still remain within this trading range here, the market remains within a short-term upward flow right now. Again, I've mentioned before that if price can't find acceptance in this zone, we may see a lower high and drop into 11,355. But we just haven't seen that rejection just yet that's followed through. We saw one good day, another big day down, and since then it's been a bounce. So again, how is price going to respond to this 12,059.75? That's the FOMC key level. Above that level opens up more strength to the recent highs. Failure to hold above that level may finally open up a little bit lower. So right now we're kind of at that pivot to continue to watch. Alright, let's take a look now at crude oil. Crude oil is down about 0.9% right now. 42s continues to be a big time level for this one. We talked about 42s yesterday as it was testing that zone. That was a big push into that level, but ultimately it was not able to close above it. It pushed lower, and now you're seeing perhaps a lower high develop here. You had the strong high here off 43s, a lower high here off 42s. Is that going to lead to at least a retest back toward 40, or perhaps a move into 39? The next move might be down into 39.30, which is the bottom end of this short-term range. And so again, you get the first move into 40, you bounce a little bit, you reject here, maybe you move into 39 and kind of trade in this zone for a while. So right here, this market just can't find strength and acceptance above 42s, so we could be looking at continued chop between 39.30 and 42 until proven otherwise. Lastly, taking a look here at gold futures. In the previous session, we talked about the potential of a failed low developing. We had a bullish extreme reversal developing in the 60-minute time frame that I talked about. 60, 15, all the time frames looked good, and it really did well. By the end of the day, it had already gone to a bullish outside day. It did finish a little bit lower here, but a signal stuck nonetheless. And this is one of my favorite potential breakout opportunities here when you have a narrow range right here. This is a narrow 5-day range, and then price tries to break one way with a big failed low, turns around and pushes the other way. That tends to be a jumping off point, a slingshot from one side to the other, as it pushes much higher. Today has the potential to be a bullish price discovery phase if it can get above the 1900 level. If not, we have the potential to see a little bit of digestive trading range action today as it brings participants into the market, and eventually we see the stop run day in a day or two. So right now, the idea here is that bulls want to keep the blue dot bid and yesterday's mid bid. If they can do that here, 1878, there's a shot to bounce this thing higher. How high does this thing go? In the very short term, we have 1918 as a potential target to the upside, but we have more upside that could take us as high as 1960 to 1980. Based on these lows and based on the potential breakout points of 114, 115 points, this low of 1860 takes you to 1960 at 100 points. Add 10 or 15 points and you get, again, 70 to 75. So we have the potential to get right into this area of the upper end of this expanding range. Right now, bulls need to keep the previous month's close bid over the next day or two for a shot at a move higher. Alright, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.